Hey guys, check this out. See what happens when you go out during the day. You find cool stuff. The first ever time I seen a box turtle in my backyard. Give him some fruits and some veggies, and I googled if grapes are good for him, so I'll come back later and see if he eats any of it. All right, folks, something a little different today. Oh look, it's light. I'm gonna go down there and try to work up some bluefish, because I know they've been around. I got some pencil poppers, some diamond jigs, and some regular poppers and whatnot. Brought the Lamy 132 1L, the 10.6, because it's you know, a little bit of a slower action rod, much easier to pencil pop with. And also, I've been seeing some nice fluke come up even at night. One was like 22 inches and 4.5 pounds. So last night come up on plug. So yeah, got a brand new Shimano Nasky. They go on the 7 foot. I don't know what somebody built and didn't want. Probably 3/4 ounce bucktails, probably going to be heavy enough to keep me down, and we got to drop a loop and we'll put some gulp on that hook. And maybe finish getting geared up, because I still have to put a leader on this and put on my waders and boots, and I'll see you guys down at the water. This is the bullshit. There's literally a garbage can right over there, and you just want to just throw it on the floor. Whatever. Let's try out for bluefish first. 17 and let it work out there. The search to time, blah 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 blah. The search to find daytime fish. Take 2. Yesterday was a wash.
Yeah, but I'm here, so there won't be any fish.
Yeah, no, the bite killer. I swear to God, I had fish like every night, and then she shows up and nothing. As a matter of fact, there was a night we went down there and people caught fish, and then she stepped on the beach and not one of the fish was good. So here we go. We'll try something else today. Oh God. Well, let's just screw that up already. It's a popper. How did crap get on there? That was slightly better. Little more distance. Here I am sitting here pencil popping. This one catches a bluefish on a... What the heck is that thing? All right, oh, that's interesting. There's some fish around.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Bleeding to death.
So we took a break and went and got ice cream. Now just
Oh my god. Calm down. I'm not grabbing you. I'm gonna
full of ice cream and regret. And oh my god, it's all over. Ah.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
That's like the first fish you caught this year.
It is.
That's hilarious.
I'm definitely gonna need my pliers.
I'm going back to pencil popping. Okay guys, day 3 of trying to get some usable daytime fishing video. We're actually catching fish. Yesterday Nicole had a one bluefish on a glider. Figure that one out, I don't know. Yesterday's conditions were very nice out. Very low wind, 70 degrees. Beautiful. Today, not so much. The forecast did call for rain originally all day. But that rain seems to have died out a little bit, and we're not supposed to get any more. And wouldn't you have it, luck would have it, just when the tide was where I wanted to fish. So go out there, give it another shot, and see if we can't raise something today on top water. Day 4 of trying to get some daytime video. Day 3, complete wash. Beautiful conditions of what I thought. There's no fish sitting there. Ended up going back out last night for a little bit, and ended up doing pretty well with bass up to 20 pounds. But I did not film it. More night video. Still trying to get some daytime video. I'm gonna hop around to a few different spots today. Might throw some big bucktails in the inlet. I think that's what we're gonna try and do today. Usually get some big blues in there, unless they're sitting in the front or on the pocket, and then I'll throw diamond jigs and poppers at them. So guys, gonna go get some dinosaur juice and head out. See you guys at the beach. All right guys, I don't know if you can hear it in the background. The wind is just absolutely terrible. So I'm probably gonna have to voice over a good portion of this video. The wind noise is just gonna be way crazy. I think there might be some bluefish around, so let's go give it a shot for a bit. All right guys, so here's where I'm going to start voiceover and some of this stuff. Well, most of it anyway. The wind was out of the northwest pretty bad, and it was kind of in my face and coming from my right. Yeah, I hooked up pretty quick here, and wasn't ready for it, so wasn't recording that first cast. I usually don't, but sometimes first cast curse, but not going to be the case today. So I'm hooked up on a bluefish right now, and you know, while we have some time here before I start getting into exactly what I was doing, some of you guys might recognize that rod. That's the Lamiglass Super Surf 2G, 10 foot 2 to 5. That's the medium heavy that they made. I think they're up to the 3G now, which I haven't tried out yet, and I can't find a tackle shop that has it. So I'm looking to really want to get my hands on that to see how it feels. That was pretty much my all-around rod for a long time, and it does quite well. but it really excels at this bucktailing. I can get away with swinging about a 10-pound fish. Anything bigger than that, I got to go down and get, obviously. But oh, there we go. We're gonna pull that fish up on the rocks. I'm got that rod paired with a VSX 250. And I just had it actually redone a little bit. One of the guides was cracked, so Mark from Cow Harbor actually rewrapped that one guide that was broken, and I asked him to fix up the grips on it, because after, I guess I've had that rod probably over 10 years. You know, some of the rubber grips started to wear down and slip. So, you know, they were getting kind of crowded up. So he did a real nice job on that, and at the end of all the fish video, I'll go back and I'll show you guys that. So, the nice job that he did. All right, so we're gonna send that bluefish home. Look around a little bit. All right, so here's what I'm doing here. Now what I'm going to do is, I was explaining this on the video. So I have the current moving. It's an outgoing tide, so it's moving right to left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast that bucktail way up the tide, let it get down to the bottom, and then I'm going to just have that bucktail on the bottom. I'm going to feel it tapping the bottom, tapping the bottom, tapping the bottom. And when it gets to my left, you know, at a certain angle, that bucktail is going to lift off the bottom, and it's going to glide across. Going to glide across in the current, and I'm going to give it a twitch along the way, but I'm going to make sure that I'm in contact with the bottom right here. Now you'll feel the bucktail lift off the bottom. You won't feel the ticking anymore. A lot of times that lift and that glide is when I'm getting the fish. Yeah, sure, I'll get them out in front of me, but a lot of times they're in that rift. When I get closer to the rocks, of course, the current gets a little slower. That bucktail is going to drop back down, start tapping rocks again, and then I'm gonna reel it in as fast as I can to keep it out of those rocks. If I leave there too long, I'm going to end up getting hung up in the rocks by my bucktail. Let's see, we'll do this again. Now I am editing this. Not usually one to voice over. I don't like voicing it over. I think it takes away from the experience, but the wind was just too terrible. There we go. We cast it up just about at a 45-degree angle. And let that bucktail get down. Now I have a massive bow on the line, of course, because I have that wind coming in the same direction as the current. I kind of have to get that bow out of the line and keep it down on the bottom. And feel the ticks. You're going to see me give that, there we go, give that rod a twitch. I'm going to bounce that bucktail around the entire time. As soon as I come into contact with it, as soon as I feel it on the bottom, I usually start to give it that lift. Go, sliding across the current, sliding across the current. You're going to let it go for as long as possible. And then, you know, like I said, after I start ticking that bottom, I'm going to start cranking it back. You can kind of see the new grip there. Did a real nice job on that. This is one of my favorite rods to fish, quite honestly. At least for this element of it. It's mainly become my jetty rod now. I was kind of missing it last year when I didn't have it. There we go, back up the current again. Let it slide, hit the bottom. Bounce that bucktail. And I want to feel that bucktail ticking the bottom. As long as it's out in front of me. Till it hits about that same 45-degree angle that I'm casting at. When I get to the other side of it, you know, depending on the current, I'm going to feel that bucktail lift. I'm not going to feel it ticking on the bottom anymore. And a lot of times that's when the hits will come. Yeah, sometimes they'll come along the bottom on the other side. Today these fish were This day, these fish were pretty much on the bottom. They were hugging the bottom. They were pretty tight. They weren't up too much in the swing as much as they were kind of like right out dead in front of me. And retrieve it back. And the fish were kind of all up and down the entire jetty. I saw guys hooking them, so no reason to move around or to jump around. I knew those fish were out in front of me. So once again, I'm kind of waiting for it to hit the bottom and pull the slack in. This was a tough day to try to do this stuff with this wind, with all the bow on the line. I'll make another video, hopefully on a nicer day, where I can really talk about what's going on while I'm doing it, because that's really what I'd rather do. You know, coming to that 45-degree angle, like I said, and bang, when that bucktail lifted, the fish was there. So yeah, that bucktail is a 3-ounce bucktail, and I got it paired with a fat cow jig strip. That wasn't the split tail one. They didn't have any of the split tail ones. I'm using a chartreuse. I kind of like the chartreuse this time of year. With chartreuse over white, I think it stands out, especially when it was a little windy and the water looks pretty clear, but it was a little murky. I think that chartreuse, you know, really stands out in a little bit of the murky water. So I definitely preferred that chartreuse colored bucktail and the chartreuse tail. I think the bucktail was actually chartreuse and white. You know, like I said, this rod is about powerful enough to pull up about a 10-pound fish. Now you got to watch high sticking. That's what you got to do. If you can pull them up a little bit on an angle where you're not raising that rod tip straight up in the air. Yeah, another guy made that mistake today, this day, and exploded his rod. So you definitely don't want that rod straight up in the air. You know, you can get away with it on some rods. Most of the lime glasses you can. Can't get away with it on some of the other rods. Here we go, bluefish. Get them unhooked. Now, I love fishing bucktails with these guys because one hook is definitely better than dealing with 6 hooks or 2 trebles. Yeah, strange mark on them. So he got bit by something. Well, maybe it happened from falling in the rocks. I don't know. All right. Hey, there's my truck. So nice having a pickup truck. Put everything in the back. Nothing stinks. Yeah, so I weighed that fish. He was about 8 pounds. An 8-pound fish there. Yeah, like I said, I weigh them for the New York State surf fishing contest. So you'll see me weigh quite a few fish in these videos. All right, we're going to toss him on back. Goodbye, bluefish. Have a nice day. All right back to fishing again. Again, same routine. At a certain point, I'm going to let some of this video play out, just because I don't want to overdo the whole thing. All right, so there we go. We're working that bucktail across, Yep, there we go. Until the angle, kind of swinging over to the left and getting into that swing. Swinging it. Giving it that hop once in a while. And retrieving it back when it gets too close in. We'll make it another cast. He said up the current enough so that I can feel the bottom, you know, I can feel that bucktail ticking the bottom. I might have to adjust it a little bit more to the left sometimes, especially depending on the current. And that's the other thing, when the current changes, slows down, speeds up, you got to kind of play with the bucktail size. Most of the time in this inlet, 3 ounces is right at the sweet spot. Certain points of the incoming I've had to use 4 or even 5, depending on the stage of the moon, the wind. You know, if it's pushing the water, yeah, you're going to need something a little bit heavier. 4 or 5, I'm usually using a different rod also. I'll usually bump it up to the night shift, which is a little bit beefier of a rod. But this rod does pretty well from anywhere between 3 and 4 ounces. I fished 5 with it before. It kind of gets a little iffy and bouncy at that. I've used it at the canal lots of times. It's the rod that I pretty much used for that until I got the night shift, and the night shift definitely excels at more 4 or 5, much stiffer, much heavier of a rod. I'll come back and talk about this rod a little bit more when I show you guys the you know, the little bit of upgrades that I've had done to it, or the repairs. There we go, hooked up with another one, using that same method. Oh, a little bit of jumping going on. Not bad sized bluefish. I think the biggest one I had this day was 15 pounds. I didn't video more. I pretty much knew that I was going to have to go over this video with all the amount of wind noise that was in it. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, another bluefish. Bucktail. I think this fish won about 10 pounds. All right, we'll release that guy. Throw him on back. And I'm going to clip this here. Has become even more terrible. Stop getting bites. Hopefully this wind chills out a little bit. So this is pretty much like the worst time of the day with this wind. It's supposed to cut back down in a few hours. By that time there'll be a completely different tide. I don't know how that tide will be. Give it a little while and hang out. I got nothing better to do today, so keep trying. And like I said, this wind kind of kicked up a little bit much for me to keep this bucktail, keep contact with this bucktail, to keep it where I want it. Hopefully it cuts down just a little bit, because it really kicked up a notch after that last fish. So get back out there and keep on trying. Took me 4 days to find one, but we found a few today. At least there's that. I know at least we got some daytime video. I don't know how good it's going to be. Like I said, I might have to voice over quite a bit. Okay, so I would have liked to have set up the camera closer to me when I was filming this part of the video, but unfortunately that wind would have just blew it over anyway. So I put it in the back of the truck and in the bed just to kind of shield it out of the wind. So you guys can kind of see from a distance what exactly I'm doing. All right, here you go. Check out the rest of the video. I'm just going to let it run the way it is for the rest of the video. So we quick released that one. I don't know how good the video is. Just keep this clipped as here. So there's still fish here, just tough to get anything on them. Let me go back out and try to get another one. Bluefish in the rocks, bluefish on the rocks, bluefish back in the water. All the time when you're doing this kind of fishing. Leader's pretty chewed up. I'm going to change it out. Really don't feel like losing bucktails. It's only a matter of time before one of these bluefish bites it off anyway. All Alright guys, I'm gonna cut this here. I think I got enough footage. I'm gonna keep fishing. I got a few minutes of battery left on here. I'd like to, I know Nicole's coming after work, so maybe if it continues going, I'll grab the other battery, keep filming, get her on some bluefish. Alright, later. Alright guys, get out of this wind a little bit. Yeah, the wind is cranking. We had some fish on that outgoing tide, and it's pretty slacked out now. I'm gonna hang out here, wait for the incoming. I do like the incoming better for stripers at this location in the spring. Not that you can't catch them on either tide, but generally do a little bit better for stripers in the incoming water. This wind is supposed to cut down somewhat. I have the windows closed and it's just howling out there. Yeah, not too bad. Bluefish, and we'll see what happens. I know Nicole said she was gonna Nicole said she was gonna come out here, so we'll see if she comes out and gives it a shot, and maybe she can catch some fish too. All right, we'll check back in a bit. But definitely not too bad to get on some bluefish on bucktails. Easier to unhook them, that's for sure, other than playing with trebles. All right, guys, I'll check back in later. All right, guys, Marine Bureau's around, checking on licenses and stuff, checking fish. Good stuff I like to see. Keep that poaching to a minimum. Definitely people keep over. That guy had a bass. He's checking that out over there. Cool deal. Don't do that. I will go down there and get it. I have no. What do you just? Yes, it is.
It's the second one.
When did you get home? Yesterday. Oh, 2 days ago. That's right. We did. We have that on video. It'll be on this video.
I need to weigh it.
You know you gotta weigh it with my boat. 10 pounds. Let's weigh this fish and we'll get it back. So Nicole's gonna show you how to do it. Just wait. On every cast. Did see one bass come up. I didn't catch it. This one just Alright guys, well, I have a quick minute between people mowing lawns and sawing wood. It's beautiful outside again. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. It is Mother's Day when I'm filming this. For any mothers that are watching, I don't know how many female viewers we have. They definitely don't comment very often. But okay, so I'm sorry for all the nighttime video this year. I'll try to get more daytime video. As you see, it was a grind of 4 days to try to get you guys something. And that just kind of comes to show something, that if you want to be successful at striped bass fishing, tip number one, fish more at night. You know, fish as much as you can at night. These fish are opportunistic, you know, feeders. They're ambush feeders. So they're going to use every advantage that they can get to their advantage. And that being darkness. They feed primarily at night for a reason. You know, the bait fish can't see them. They can hide in shadow lines, they can hide behind stuff, and they feel more safe coming out and closer to the shoreline at night than they do during the day. They do catch fish during the day. In this video, actually, well, not in this video, but after I had filmed the last part of this video, me and Nicole was still fishing on that incoming tide. I did have a striped bass that I lost at the rocks, basically because I went down there to get it, and usually I'm using a 60 to 80 pound leader. I only had 50, and that fish got me in the rocks, and I was working him out of the rocks, down in the rocks. He just clipped me off. So life happens. That fish was probably, I'm gonna guess, about 15 and 18 pounds, somewhere right, and I'm pretty good at guessing the size on them. We'll go now to the gear that I was using in this video. Here we go. So this was the, like I said, the Lamiglass Super Surf 2G. So this was the nice wrapping that Mark from Cal Harper did on it, and it's paired with a VS 250. You know, real nice grips he put on there. And this is the guide that was cracked, and he did a nice job of fixing that. I kind of painted over the guide just a little bit with some Testors model paint, just to see if that would hold, just to keep you know, some of the rust down on it. I'll probably have to do it every year, sand it down and re-put it on, but it keeps them nice. And you know, again, had it to a 50 pound leader. I would have liked to have gone 60, maybe even 80. That's usually what I like to use on the jetty, because you are against the rocks. I don't use fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon does give you a little bit of abrasion resistance more than mono does, but the other downfall with that fluorocarbon is that it doesn't have as much stretch as mono. So you know, when you're trying to lift up a fish, you don't have as much stretch. And I got that on a 3-ounce bucktail with a fat cow strip with a TA clip. Alright guys, so that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like this video, please you know, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. It goes down, the links go, and leave a comment below. It was a tough 4 days trying to get this video, but we got it done. We did get it done. Again, like I said, tip number one: you want to catch more striped bass, fish at night. That's when you're gonna get them. That's when they feel more secure coming in, and that's when they're primarily feeding to where you can get them. Yeah. So also, if you're gonna go out on the jetty, guys, make sure you have the proper gear and proper attire. I was wearing corkers with cleats on the bottom, metal cleats. A lot of guys like the felt. I've never tried them. I do have a pair of the felts. They keep coming with the boots, and I'm really got to switch off and try those out, because those rocks are getting a little more slimy and a little more spread apart each year, trying to get up and down those rocks. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm getting a little older. So again, if you guys like the video, do the YouTube things, and happy Mother's Day to everybody, and probably drop this on Monday. Thanks for checking us out, guys, and tight lines, and hope to see you out there, and as always, just not on my rock.